Hello, I'm Cassie. Welcome to episode 7 of my allotment journey. And I'm cheating a bit today because I'm not actually at either of my allotments. I'm in my back garden. Like many people this year, from watching other allotment vlogs and so on, I'm growing a lot more flowers. I've been really keen to get going with dahlias, and I've got lots of those growing in my greenhouse, and not quite sure where I'm going to actually put them all. And like other people, I've also been tempted by the end of season sales. So I've got a whole box of bulbs and corms and tubers and various things inside that need planting out somewhere. And as it happens, in my garden, I've got a new space that I think is going to be just right for all of these flowers. And if it's not, it's going to have a good go at being so. So I'm going to just show you what I'm going to do, and I'll just record my progress as we go. So here we see the slightly sadder side of some rather empty, except with one exception, garden troughs. And these were my first journey into growing vegetables way back in 2020, and they served good, provided good service, but a couple of them have sadly collapsed at the bottom. My husband and daughter made these for me, and they did really well. I think I put too much compost in them. This one's collapsed as well. This one hasn't, and I'm going to think of a new use for it. And this one hasn't either. And I'm keeping it going while the lavender's still growing in it, and then I might clear it out and repurpose it. However, this I'm going to show you is where they have been standing. So one of them was there, and it held lots of herbs, and the herbs have just been put into those pots there. So there's some oregano and marjoram and sage there. So I might make that into a bed. But what I'm thinking about today is this area down here, going up to that second wooden, what do you call them? Tub. Yeah, I'm going to say tub. I think there's another name. What I'm going to do is try and get this area covered in some good compost, try and build it up a bit. I've got an idea to line the other side of it with bricks, but I haven't got the bricks yet, and I don't want to faff about because it's time to get those plants in. So I'm going to build a bed around the tubs. Not quite sure yet. I think I'm going to keep this lovely hydrangea in a tub, because it's only just been put there, and also it needs different soil to the other plants. I've got just an old broken plastic tub there, which I may reuse. And here, just for cute interest, we've got our bunnies. One of them's in the little hut, but they might appear later. That's Honey Bunny. Let's go and say hello to Honey Bunny. Hello, Honey Bunny. How are you doing, lovely? Hello, Honey Bunny. So Honey Bunny's in there. Our other bunny is Snowy, and no prizes for guessing what colour Snowy is. Anyway, right, so the first job, I just started it there, is to gather up compost from around the garden. We've got a number of compost pits. When I empty this out, actually they've all gone to hide now, but when I empty that bit of compost which had been sat in a tub waiting to be used, it was full of worms. So I think it's going to be really, really healthy. I've got a number of places where we've got compost in the garden. So there's a couple of tubs tucked in here. You see, with a shovel in, ready for me to carry on unloading some of that. And then we've also got some beautifully made pallet compost bins here, which a friend of mine who works in garden, but it's Birchleaf Gardens, if you want to, I don't think that's quite the right name, but anyway, James at Birchleaf does a great job for me helping out with things. And so 3 compost bins there, which we've got some ready to use compost, some not quite ready to use, but I can dig under it if I need to, in there actually, and then a very old one which came with the garden originally, which is where all the current waste goes. And you can see actually in there, we've got the compost from the beds, so that should actually rot down really nicely. Sorry, not from the beds, from the troughs. Okay, so I'm going to start and fill some buckets of compost and see how we go.
I lost audio from the camera at this point. So what I started by doing was unloading the large black compost bin that had been set next to that green one, and carrying the compost in tubs, literally tubs this time, into that bed there and laying it out.
So for additional added cuteness, Snowy Bunny has made an appearance. So here they are together, Snowy Bunny and Honey Bunny. Hello bunnies. Hello bunnies. Yes, you're very cute. And I have completed the first stage of laying the garden compost down on the proposed beds. So I'm pleased with that. Didn't take quite as long as I thought, and I stopped huffing and puffing when I came up with the better idea of using the wheelbarrow to transport it rather than looking at putting it into tubs. Yeah, rather unsightly mess there, which is bits of plastic and tape and biodegradable bags that have got left in the compost. So those will just go in the bin in a moment. So the next job, I'm going to put down some multi-purpose compost on top of it, just because I don't know, I just like to have a good mix of homemade compost and this compost I've already bought. So I'm going to put that on the top, and then we should soon be ready to plant into it. Right, I've now done that job, and the only thing is I've kind of somewhat belatedly thought it would have been a good idea to water it before I put compost on, because the earth has been quite compacted over the last few weeks where we've not had any rain. So I think I need to get the hose and give it a good going over. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll have a look through what's going to be planted in it. So that's had a good drenching now, and I'll let that soak in for a bit while I go and sit down and sort through the bulbs and tubers that I've got. See you again in a minute. So now's the time to go through my box of frivolous and excessive expenditure on end of season bulbs and see what we've actually got. So I'm going to sort them all out and then label them up. Obviously, it won't take all of your time to label them up, but it might be fun to see what we've got in the mystery box. So all blame to Sarah Raven and Farmer Gracie for their end of season sales. Let's see what we've ended up with. Stuck to the box. Yeah. So that's a dahlia, Pacific Jewel. Another dahlia, Otto's Thrill. Sounds thrilling. And another dahlia. God, you've been big on dahlia. God, that's such a small label. Bantling. It's not such a cool name, is it? And then I've got, more dahlias. Caitlin's Joy. I wonder if that ought to go next to Otto's Thrill. Creme de Cognac. Posh one. Bohemian Spartacus. Exciting one. And Blue Boy. Cool one. I think that's the dahlia. So how many is that? 7 dahlias. I think this is one my daughter chose. Potentilla nepalensis. Good job I did Latin at school, isn't it? Agapanthus, popping purple. That sounds nice. This the potentilla is already got some shoots coming, which is lovely, and it's songfoil, and it's pink and red as well. So we've got purples and pinks and reds going on here. This one's also sprouting, so that's another agapanthus, which is a purple near black one. So that sounds really exciting. Phlox, pastel pink phlox. That's called Cool Water. So that sounds nice. They all sound nice, don't they? Let's be honest. And then I've got some white lily of the valley, 10 of those. So those can go in around, dotted around, yeah, nearly at the end. And then white and pale pink. The common name is false goat's beard, but its other name is Astilbe chinense, milk and honey. So yeah, this is going to be so exciting. So I just need to go and space them out, I think, before I actually plant them in. I've remembered to make up the labels to put with the bulbs and tubers so that hopefully they'll stay visible and I can remember what's what, and that might be particularly useful when if I want to dig them up to keep over the winter, keep them in boxes or whatever, so that I can plant them out again next year. So we'll see how we go. Annoyingly, I didn't have all of the same type. I ran out of the lolly stick ones and had to resort to the plastic. But there we go. Labels for everything. And I'll now go and see where I think they ought to go. Okay, so that took less time than I thought it would, just placing them out. I suppose it's not a big job really, but they're all the different plants now in their bags still are laid out alternately with the dahlias, except for the lily of the valley, which are these little tiny things here, 10 of those. There's another one there, and 7 on the other side. They're all just out of the bags, no labels, because that would have got tedious. And they're going to be lining that kind of brick edge of our footpath, where until very recently we had some lovely bluebells. So it's a shame you can't see those. There's kind of just some remnants of them there on the other side. So now's the job to put them all in.
So, unbeknown to me, at that point, my camera's sound stopped working. So this is the next morning. We've had some lovely rainfall, and that hopefully all my new plantings will have bedded in. You might notice that there's a few droopy little plants there at the side of the bed, at the ragged edge, and I decided that would be a good idea to use up some of the straw flowers and cosmos seedlings that I had in the greenhouse. Now they were only little delicate things, but they've just been sat there not doing very much. So I've placed them all along the edge, alternating straw flowers with cornflowers, and it's the straw flowers that you can see looking a little bit floppy there. The cosmos are standing out quite nicely, but they're quite difficult to see on that. So I think all in all, a successful afternoon's endeavour, and hopefully this will be a really beautiful bed in a couple of months' time when the flowers start to bloom. Hope you've enjoyed this little diversion from my allotment, and I'll be back there soon. See you all.